Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Gutsy Presenter. It looks like, Jennifer, your lighting keeps shifting today. What is going on?
My lighting is shifting. My lights are flickering because we are having a pretty intense windstorm, rainstorm. I'm in the Seattle area, though, so it's not too surprising.
It's not surprising, and you love it.
It's beautiful. I love dramatic weather. I love it. Now, did you recently get rain in Northern California?
Yes, it seems like for the first time in 1,000 years, we got some rain. It was, what do they call it? An atmospheric river.
Wow.
I know,
Sounds
very
intense.
dramatic, very dramatic. But here it is in the fall. It's just starting to get cold, and I'm sort of preparing myself for the gloom of winter. But with the rain, all the wild grass in the hills has popped up, just waiting for water. And now it's growing everywhere, including in our flower beds and planting areas and things like that. So
sad for you.
Well, it is sad because I hate the weeds. I have to go out there and pull all these weeds, and it is, painstaking.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, you know what we're doing.
That is our topic. That's our topic when a presenter is stuck in the weeds.
Yes.
Yes.
Stuck in the weeds, getting lost in the weeds. I think I
like this. This is good.
It is good. Thank you. Was that creative or what? That's
your analogy of rain and weeds.
Well, I don't know if it's really an analogy. I just wanted to make some kind of creative connection.
It was amazing, Scott.
I know,
just
it was
amazing.
Amazing. I amaze myself.
Every day. Let's talk about this, though, because Scott, I will tell you, when I'm listening to a presenter, when they get stuck in the weeds, I check out instantly. I'm done. I'm mentally finished.
Yeah.
I don't have the brain energy to stay connected.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's most important, and then let's move on. That's my communication style preference, though.
Even though some people can tolerate the weeds better than others, I don't think the weeds are generally good. I think it's best not to get lost in the details. That's what we're really talking about, right?
Well, it is. And the listeners who can tolerate the weeds, they actually can thrive in the weeds, tend to be more of a detail-focused listener.
Yeah.
They want the details. They want the step-by-step A, B, C, D, all the way to Z. That's actually what they need so that they can learn and process.
Yeah.
However, it's not the majority of an audience.
Well, but see, this is where I don't know that I've really formulated an opinion here, but something about what you said makes me feel like, now, wait a second. Just because there's detail-oriented folks that do like that kind of stuff, does it mean that they're served up best when the presenter simply stays in those details? Because I think what's lost is that you don't get people to make clear steps forward and changes and transformation by forgetting about the high level goals, the vision. I want to share an example.
Please.
Okay. I have a client who likes to share a study that was done of their industry that pointed out that their company was a leader in the industry. The problem is the data that they present is pretty complicated. So in helping a sales team utilize this great sort of credibility building data, it was really difficult because they wanted to explain everything. It was tough. I'm not going to lie, because in order for somebody to understand the data, there had to be a little bit of explanation. The danger was getting lost. Just let me explain this data. And suddenly they forgot. At a high level, the reason they were sharing this data is because it would build trust with the prospect, that the listener would go, oh, somebody who's not in your company, but knows your industry really well, says you're great. And that's the high level main point. I think we lose that sometimes. I think in part because we might have pretty complicated stuff to share. But I think the best presenters, they can get into details as needed, but they can get back out of those details and back up to a higher elevation.
Yes. They're
right?
aware.
Where you can, the big picture type of thing.
They are intentionally speaking. They're very aware of what they're doing. I love that visual, Scott. They know when to dive deeper, and they know when to pull out, provide high level overviews.
Yeah.
So it's that blend. It's that mix and being able to pivot, because if we stay too deep into the details throughout the presentation, that's when you're going to drive the majority of the audience crazy. They're going to go nuts. Boredom.
Yeah.
They shut down.
I guess to help our listeners understand, well, what do you do about this? I'm sure some of them go, I'm guilty. I get caught in the weeds. And what do we tell them to say, well, what things can you think about and do to help you stay out of those things, or at least be able to get back out into a high level?
There are two things that come to my mind as you were talking through this. The first is we tend to communicate with how we like to be communicated with.
Yeah.
So if a presenter prefers to hear all of the details when they're sitting through a presentation, that might be their approach when they present. So it goes back to, it's not about you.
Yeah.
As the presenter, it's not about you. You have to take care of your audience, and don't make an assumption that your audience wants all of the details. Now, if you do need to present a part of the presentation that does need to go into greater detail, be very intentional about it and only share what's most important. Yeah. You can always provide backup information post presentation. Put it in the appendix so they can reference it afterward. Again, it's knowing your audience and doing what's best for them.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that even knowing your audience, it's not just knowing your audience, I think is what you said. It's know yourself too.
Yes.
If you know you have a way that you like things and you're tending to fall into a pattern of delivering in that way, it's easier to identify, oh, I've done it again. I'm just talking the way I like to be talked to, and I'm not adjusting to the audience. I guess there's one more thing I want to mention about this. I think there's other things that are related that might help our listeners figure this out a little bit. One is, I think the details tend to be, of course, more analytical in nature. You know, it's logical. Let me break this down for you. Analysis, where high level stuff is more about the opposite of breaking things down. It's pulling it all together. And part of that is, big picture. It's knowing, again, having an awareness of what is my core idea I'm trying to get across here? Why? What is it that matters to the listener at a high level? And how can I connect things for them? There's also the emotional quality to it. I tend to think if you are operating in a way where you're being aware of what do I want my audience to feel, that may help you a little bit too from getting lost in the weeds. As again, I tend to think they tend to be more analytical and flat. If you go, I want my audience to be inspired, you tend to move toward more of the high level messaging, I think. I mean, it's a thought and a theory, but I think there's some real truth to that.
It is. And going back to that self-awareness piece, we don't know how we are perceived by our audiences. this is for our listeners. The next time you give a presentation, if you do believe you are a presenter that digs deep and stays in the weeds, get some feedback. Ask someone that attended your presentation. Someone that you trust will give you honest feedback, and ask if giving too much information, if it's distracting, does it take any excitement out of the presentation? We need the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, short of maybe breaking a microphone or lights going out with giant storms in the Northwest, I think we did pretty good with that. We survived. We got out of the weeds.
Yes, we're out of the weeds.
All right, everybody, you stay out of the weeds, but smash that like button. How do you like that?
Oh, yes.
Have you heard that one
caught
before?
Me off guard. No, I have not heard that.
I was told by my wife, who's much more in tune with the current, verbiage. It's smash that like button. If you like what you're hearing on our podcast, please smash the like button.
Okay,
leave a review, a comment. It will help us spread the word.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.
Thank you, partner. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Scott.